Let's talk about my Honda S2000 and what I've done so far to get the car track ready. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for joining me today. We've got another video for you today on the Honda S2000. I've been trying diligently to get this car ready for track. There's been a couple of delays, but today I'm going to talk to you about some of the things I've had to address and some of the things that I think are relevant to anybody else that's looking to track a car that's 14 years old, 16 years old, 20 years old in some cases. One of the very first things that I did after acquiring the Honda was I took it straight to my mechanic. I had him look over everything, the fluids, oil, transmission, brake fluid, the whole 9 yards, which is just good practice, especially when you're getting into a car that you don't really know with a lot of confidence what the previous history was. Now, Carfax is a great tool, and it certainly helps in learning about the car you're about to buy, although it doesn't always tell the whole story, which we're going to go into in just a minute. So being that I've typically been the guy that buys my cars almost new or pretty much new off the showroom floor, I'm still kind of learning the old car Honda shitbox game. And that's not to say that this is a shitbox, because it absolutely isn't. It's a great car. But you guys know what I mean. When you're getting into an older car and it's had more than a couple of owners, knowing the exact history is kind of iffy. So my point being is, when you go into a car and you want to track it and you want to get it ready to track, what you're gonna hear a lot is all you need is some brake pads, good brake fluid, and a good set of tires, and you just go to the track. When you have a car that's 16 years old or 20 years old, as some Honda S2000s are now at this point, there are actually a lot more things you really should address before taking it to track. So once you get all the basic maintenance stuff out of the way, all the different fluids, you want to look at some of the other things that are more relevant to tracking the car, namely the alignment. So when I picked up this car, the alignment was all out of whack. It didn't really bother me too much because when I looked on the Carfax, it showed no accidents, you know, a couple of different owners, but clean title, no salvage title or anything like that, not even damage reported. So I felt pretty good about getting into the car without too much worry. So when I took the car to my tuner, I gave him the specs for the alignment that I was looking for. He wasn't able to dial in the front part of the suspension in the camber that I wanted. So when we looked into it a little further, we discovered that there was some damage on the front subframe that we were thinking might have been the cause for the reason we couldn't get the camber adjusted to where we wanted it. Looking into it further, since I was kind of new to getting back into a Honda S2000 and it was never something that I had to worry about before, I bought the car not blind, but a little bit ignorant. When we looked into the problem with the camber, we noticed then that I was actually missing a couple of VINs. There wasn't a VIN on the front bumper, which is not too big a deal. A lot of people change their front bumper out. If they, you know, get enough scratches, or if they were using an aftermarket bumper and they sold their original bumper, you know, they might have to get another bumper without the VIN tag on it. So that part didn't really bother me too much. But the driver's side front fender was also missing a VIN tag. So after seeing the front subframe damage and the inability to dial in the camber where I needed it, and the missing VIN tags, it was safe to assume that there was some type of front end collision. Now, it didn't look bad at all. There's definitely no frame damage. In inspecting it, we definitely looked into that to make sure that there was nothing serious going on. But there was something minor enough, or big enough, I should say, that it's not allowing me to dial in the camber properly. So what I did in an attempt to fix the issue, I got another subframe. And since I was getting another subframe, I decided, okay, while we're doing the subframe, let me get some spoon stuff. So I got spoon rigid collars, I got some spoon braces for the front and the rear. Right now I only got the rear, and the center brace, I got that as well. But I've got spoon rigid collars front and back. So I figured if we're changing out the subframe, let's do the rigid collars. So got the new subframe in, rigid collar and all the spoon stuff in. Tried to dial in the camber, still couldn't get it to where I wanted to. So what's the next step? Brought it to another S2000 specialist. Actually took it down to Elite in Burlingame, Elite Performance. Gary has his own S2000. He knows S2000s very, very well. So when I had him look at the car, we discovered that the lower control arm on the driver's side is a little bent. So that is probably the biggest indicator of why I can't get my camber dialed in. So that's the alignment stuff. In preparation for other things I wanted to get done before track day, I also wanted to do the traditional things you want to do before track day. So I got a set of wheels and tires, which if you guys haven't already seen that video, I already have a video on that. Wheels and tires are done. I figured since I was getting the brake fluid change, I might as well upgrade to the Endless 650 brake fluid that I use in my FK8 Civic Type R. That fluid is awesome. It's always done me well, so I did that. Upgraded the brake pads, and I figured while I'm in there, might as well do stainless steel brake lines all the way around. So I got that done. So another area that I wasn't really planning on spending a lot of money on to start with was the suspension system. When I got the car, it came with Bilstein coilovers. I don't recall the exact model, but when I was getting my alignment done, we noticed that there was a leak in one of the shocks. So I thought I was going to be good with the Bilstein coilover system for a little while, but because of the leaky shock, I didn't want to be on track, and one corner was, you know, not quite dampening the same way as the other three corners. In a rear-wheel drive car, especially in the S2000 that's very tail happy, it's probably not the best thing to do. So I found a set of Olin's coilovers, which I already have the video on as well. Go check that out if you want to go see that install. But all of that is done. I figured while I'm in there, I'm going to get my sway bars done. So I have the Sake Bomb sway bars. And then I thought, okay, I should be ready to track the car now. But wait, there's more. So in this car I had the factory OEM airbox as well, which was fine. I was actually wanting to keep the factory OEM airbox. But I noticed there was some rattling under the hood, so I was wondering, what's going on here? So I thought at first that the rattling was my timing chain tensioner, which is a common problem with older S2000s. So I went ahead and had the timing chain sensor upgraded to the Belade Sports, and I figured while I'm in there, I'm gonna get the timing chain gear done as well. Also a video on that, guys. If you haven't caught that, check it out. So okay, I figured rattling under the hood is good. Got the valve job done as well, so the car is properly tuned. It feels strong. It felt a lot better after I got all that work done. So now I'm happy and I'm thinking, okay, we're ready for track day. But wait, there's still more. So while a lot of the vibration went away, it wasn't completely gone. So I'm like, what the heck? What is going on here? So looked, and it turns out the factory airbox was not bolted down. It was literally just being held in by the hose that goes into the throttle body, and that's it. There were no bolts holding the box down to the frame of the car. And when I looked at it, the reason why is because the aftermarket radiator that's in the car that came with the vehicle when I bought it is so thick that there is no way to get the holes to line up for the factory airbox. So it's just kind of sitting in there willy-nilly flopping around, which was causing the rest of my vibration that I was hearing and feeling. So I had to get a different intake. Now, I wanted something that was low maintenance and not over the top, not crazy, and I didn't really care for adding horsepower. I just more wanted to make sure I wasn't getting a ton of heat soak, which is the reason why I wanted to keep the OEM factory box to begin with. So after doing a lot of research, I decided that K&N FIPK intake system was going to be the best choice for me. It's carb legal, it's easy to get it smogged, it's relatively headache free. So that's what I got that installed. So now we've got to be ready for track day, right? Not quite. So being that this is a convertible Honda S2000 and the A-pillars actually serve as rollover protection, if you are over 5'8", I'm just under 5'11", about 5'11". With a helmet on, my head does not pass the broomstick test that some racing clubs make you abide by if you have a convertible. So the broomstick test is putting a broomstick between the factory roll bar and the top of the A-pillar, and if it's touching your helmet, you fail the broomstick test. There has to be clearance between that and the factory roll bar, otherwise you don't pass it. So what does that mean? That means I've got to get a roll bar, which I've actually got coming, and there will be a separate video on that. These are all things that I had planned for the S2000 anyways. I just didn't plan on doing them this quickly because I was looking to just track the car, but that's why I'm doing this video for you guys here today, because I think there's a misunderstanding as to what it actually takes to get a car track ready. It depends on what car you're trying to get track ready. It depends on how old the car is. It depends on what safety issues on the vehicle that you need to address before you could really reliably and safely take it out on track. Because while tracking your car is an absolutely fun time, and it's absolutely something I recommend every single one of you do, you want to make sure you're doing it the right way. And when I say the right way, I don't mean your car has to be at the top and peak performance of its entire life. That's not what I mean. All I mean is that the car is in good operational, mechanical, and safety-wise condition before you take it out and really romp on it, which is my main goal here. It just so happened that since I'm addressing some of those safety concerns, some of those reliability concerns, I figured while I'm in there, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade some of this stuff. So almost ready for track day in the S2000, but we've got an FK8 track day coming up very, very soon. Stay tuned for that. But that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like and comment, share this video so other enthusiasts just like you can get to see it as well. But that's it for now. Until then, stay hungry, stay fast, stay tuned. I'm Michael Baxi, and I'm out.
Okay, I've been working like 3 jobs. Probably why I never see ya. Probably why I never have time for the fake friends that won't be ya. Oh God, I've been running now. Up early when the sun is out. Not setting out my own soul, but those real ones, they coming out. Oh look who's reaching out. Oh